this is a big story, or maybe we're making it into a big story. Over this weekend, Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys went out there and traded for Trey Lance. They gave up a 4th-round pick for a former number 3 overall quarterback. The 49ers, San Francisco 49ers in 2021 went out there and moved up in the draft. Some people are saying that this is the biggest or the worst pick or trade anybody could do it. I'm talking about the San Francisco 49ers and what they did in 2021. It didn't work out. He backed up Jimmy G the first year. Jimmy G held it down. And then last year, Brock Purdy ended up coming in after he snapped his ankle. They gave him the ball and said, you are our quarterback. And after 2 games, in an okay start, he breaks his leg or his ankle. And now Brock Purdy came in, and the rest is history. Remember, they brought in Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold outplayed this young man. And Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys stands up and gives up a 4th-round pick. Ashley, my question, because, you know, the Dallas Cowboys, this is your team. Is Jerry Jones...
Oh, now it's mine. I thought you were trying to...
I mean, like, you guys, you and Mr. Jeff haven't received me yet. You
well,
said after week one.
After week 1, but this is also your audition.
No, that's not what you said.
Okay.
Don't switch it up.
Okay, week 1, you're right.
You haven't accepted me yet.
How you move during week 1 will determine whether or not your application's accepted.
Okay, and I don't want the Dallas Cowboys is my team. It's just my pick, and I'm supporting them this year. I think they're going to.
Like the Suns.
They can get through all of this stuff right now.
Like the Suns. The
Yes.
Dallas Cowboys.
Well, we haven't. Yeah. So is the Dallas Cowboys? All right, this situation, messy situation potentially, but is Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones good?
Just define good. Good in what sense?
Jerry Jones goes and trades for Trey Lance. He doesn't consult Dak Prescott or Coach McCarthy, right? This is your guy.
When you say good, do you mean are they friendly? Are they friends?
Yeah, are they good? Are they on good terms?
Cordial?
Is business good? Is that the love? Does that love still exist? That's good. Are we going to see this on Sunday? Or is Dak Prescott going to stiff arm him? Or is Dak Prescott going to see Jerry Jones walking up to him to say, hey, go get him today? But Dak Prescott walks to the other side of the field because he's looking at him saying, damn.
No.
Why did you do what the Green Bay Packers did? Like, did you not see how that ended?
I'll say this. Dak is the ultimate professional, so he will continue business as usual. Now, if that doesn't mean that he doesn't feel a way about it, but he'll never allow that to affect the team. He'll never allow that to be seen publicly. He may privately feel that. I'm sure that he does. And I know people will say, well, Jerry's the owner. He doesn't have to consult with him. True, but that's really not the way it's done. You always bare minimum go over it with your star player. Usually your star player is your quarterback. Now, do I feel like it's such a... It's not like they brought in Aaron Rodgers. They brought in Trey Lance. No shade, but they brought in Trey Lance. He hasn't really done anything in the NFL. He's been injured frequently. So if you can get a quarterback of his potential for cheap, I don't have an issue with that. It's just the lack of...
But it's not cheap, though. A 4th-round pick is not cheap.
What's a 4th-round pick in the grand scheme of things?
Me? Dak Prescott went in the 4th round.
Anomalies.
There's a lot. No, 4th round.
You could easily get a 4th-round pick in another situation, another trade, another situation. It's not like a 1st rounder.
Yeah, but first round, when you draft someone in the 1st round, you're expecting that person to come in and play. 2nd round as well, but you may give them a year. 3rd and 4th round, you're drafting someone in the 3rd and 4th round because you expect them to come in and add depth to your team and potentially develop into a starter. So when we say 4th round, there's a lot of value in those middle rounds.
Not doubting the value. What I'm saying is that it's not like they parted with astronomical amount of collateral to get Trey Lance. They didn't trade away multiple picks. They didn't trade players. It was one 4th-round pick. I'm not doubting you can get a gem in the 4th round.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Look up most notable 4th-round picks.
Definitely not doubting that you can get a gem in the 4th round. A bunch of players have come out of the 4th round and have had incredible careers. Not doubting that. I'm just saying that in this situation, it's not like you squoze out more than what the juice was worth. You know what I mean? The juice wasn't worth the squeeze, that type of saying.
Right.
I will say the thing that kind of took me aback wasn't necessarily the Trey Lance situation, although it rubbed me the wrong way, especially hearing Dak's reaction.
Yeah.
He kind of paused and it was like,
nothing surprises me
Nothing
anymore.
surprises me, but no, he didn't. You know, that rubbed me the wrong way, but it was what Jerry said about Jalen Hurts that for me was concerning. He basically said that the way how they wanted to draft Jalen Hurts had he fallen in the draft. And we know what kind of career Jalen Hurts has had thus far. Exceptional talent.
But it still goes back to the fourth round. He said if Trey Lance...
That rubbed me a little bit different.
Why, though? Because Jerry basically said if he fell to the fourth round, they would have taken him.
Because I think that Jalen Hurts is a more talented quarterback than Trey Lance. And Jalen Hurts had it in him. Had he fallen in the draft to the Dallas Cowboys to become a starting quarterback.
We know that now that Jalen
I knew that when I saw Jalen Hurts. If you were following him at Bama, like
yeah, but of course, but there's a reason why he went and he fell out of the first round. I think Jalen Hurts went second round. Was it second round?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was second round, right? Like if the NFL community really thought highly of him, they did, because second round is not no pushover, right? But they would have drafted him in the first round. Trey Lance, remember, there was a lot of teams high on Trey Lance, and this is a guy that played, 1 year, or started 1 year in college at North Dakota State or whatever the college was?
I personally was never that high on Trey Lance. He wasn't, I thought that there was potential there. I didn't think that he was a quarterback that was going to come in and automatically lead a franchise. I was much higher on Jalen Hurts.
Right.
The same way, I felt the same way about Devontae Smith. Everyone was saying he was too skinny, that he wasn't going to be a wide receiver. I said that the kid is good, and he's been exceptional. So for me, I looked at it from a different perspective. For me, that was worrisome hearing Jerry say that, because Jalen Hurts had all of the makings, and it's become true to take the starting job from Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, for me, a little bit of a red flag that maybe he's not much of a believer as he once was.
Right. Here's what I would say. Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones is good, but I believe that Dak Prescott, just like a lot of athletes, hit this phase of their career where they understand that it's all business and there's nothing personal. Athletes, it's extremely personal for athletes, because athletes, everything's wrapped up in this one thing, around this one ball. Like, you change your life, you buy your mom a home, you can take care of your family, so it's extremely personal, right? Like, we're passionate about it. We feel like it's our life's work. But then there comes a point where we're like, oh shit, they really don't care about me. And I really believe that Dak Prescott is in a moment right now where he's like, okay, this whole vision that I have of being the ultimate pro, team first guy, like, now all of that's out the window. Like, he said that in his comment, Ashley, nothing surprises me anymore. When you hear comments like that coming from an athlete, it takes you into their psyche and how they're starting to view, the business or their owners or their team, right? This is a guy that has 1 more year left on his contract. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this stuff plays out. It's a game of leverage. You had the Cowboys that came out and said they want to sign him back. Dak Prescott, like you said, for 8 years have been the ultimate pro. This is a dude that, when you see the star, like you see Dak Prescott, I'm talking about all the players, who has represented the Dallas Cowboys better than Dak Prescott has? And so for them to go out there and trade for Trey Lance, they're good because of the business side of it. But Dak Prescott, all of that other, Big Blue and Cowboy stuff, he's going to play the game, but he's now looking at this situation like, what do I need to do? What's best for me, not necessarily for the Dallas Cowboys.
I think also Jerry has shown his hand with this Dak situation more than once, which is why I think that Cowboy fans particularly feel a certain type of way about what has transpired. Because if you remember, Jerry dragged his feet on paying Dak.
Yep.
After multiple successful seasons, Rookie of the Year, or Offensive Player of the Year, whatever
Yep.
the award was. Him and Zeke were unstoppable. Came in, took over for Tony Romo, and was just absolutely incredible, dominant. He drags his feet on paying Dak, and every time it's brought up, it's kind of snide remarks. It's not the way that you would think an owner would talk about a young quarterback who has gone above and beyond.
But is it Dak or is it Jerry Jones, though? Because Jerry Jones is one of those owners that he's a beloved owner by the guys that come through and play for him. But he's kind of transparent in a lot of ways, even with Zach Martin and what he needs to do. So is it Dak Prescott or is it just Jerry Jones's personality?
No, I think in that situation particularly, he dragged his feet on paying Dak, and almost it came across like he didn't value him until Dak got hurt, and the team was terrible. And you realize, oh, we do need him. He is a pivotal part, or the most pivotal part of this offense. We need him. And then all of a sudden, now you're back high on the Dak train. It almost seems at a lot of times Jerry is very hot and cold with Dak. It's very much like when he's into him, he's really into him. And then when he's not, he's indifferent.
But
it's just not the way that, at least for me, when you look across the league, most owners, regardless of whether their QB is good, bad, in the middle, they are high on their quarterback. Like, that's the last person they throw under the bus. And it seems like Jerry is the opposite.
What I think we're seeing right now, and I said this when we first launched Paper Route, Jerry Jones is about to turn, and I was joking, I said, Jerry Jones is about to turn 140 years old, right? Jerry Jones, he wants to win now, right? Like, he's not in his prime anymore. So I don't see panic in Jerry Jones. So that's why I push back a little on you when you're talking about his relationship with Dak, because he went out there, he did pay him. Dak's been there for 8 years. He could have made a move, a year ago, 2 years ago.
But Jerry can't go ahead and escape fault here, because what happened? You had Jason Garrett as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys swimming in the waters of mediocrity for a lot longer than he should have, and you refused to make a move. You got rid of everyone around him instead of focusing on the problem. I'm not going to go ahead and put all the blame in this player, that player. In the Tony Romo years, there was only 1 or 2 years while Tony Romo was the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys that they had a Super Bowl team. The defense was always...
I don't know about that. That team was stacked.
No. I said there was only 1 or 2 years during his tenure, and it was the last few years that they did. The last few years. The year, remember the Des no catch? That was a Super Bowl team. The year before that, that was a Super Bowl team.
But you didn't think they had a Super Bowl team when they had the Roy Williams of the world? And,
because defense, offensively maybe, defense, it was always neglected. Defense was always a afterthought for the Dallas Cowboys. It wasn't until recently that they started to really go ahead
just went in the Hall of Fame, the defensive end, what's his name again?
But one player doesn't make an entire defense. Like, it wasn't.
Go ahead.
The Dallas Cowboys towards the end of Tony Romo's tenure were Super Bowl teams. Like, those teams could have won. But there was always something. It was either neglecting the defense. You kept Jason Garrett as the head coach way too long. So I'm not going to go ahead and allow Jerry to escape fault here. He had the power to make certain decisions that could have changed the trajectory of the team, and he chose to drag his feet on certain decisions. That's on him.
Right. So, I mean, I think what we're seeing here is Jerry Jones trying to figure out, how do I push the team that I have, starting with Dak Prescott, light a fire under him, and also put himself in position to get it done. There's no doubt in my mind that Jerry Jones wants to win a Super Bowl. He's one of those owners that's doing everything in his power to create a championship team. There are some owners out there, Ashley, that all they care about is saving money. They're not going to go out there and pay people. They're not going to invest in infrastructure, meaning like the facilities and the amenities, or giving. Some owners make their players pay for lunch. Like, it's that bad. So I'm saying that because...
Isn't the cafeteria free?
What? Yeah, like you would expect to walk in, right, into the cafeteria, and you have breakfast and you have lunch.
Yeah,
you have all these things.
It's like a buffet, right?
Yeah.
So
some owners make the players pay for that. They take that out your check, right? And so I'm saying all that because Jerry Jones is a owner that's doing everything in his power to create a championship team, and he wants it now. You know, just same thing that we're seeing with Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson is a guy that's not afraid to cut a check. And then he goes out there and he goes and gets Aaron Rodgers. So there's some of these owners that are pressed for time, that wants it now. And that's what we're seeing here. And hopefully Dak Prescott doesn't fold or break. And I don't think that's it, because you saw how he handled the media after they traded for Trey Lance, right? He's always poised, he's always on, and hopefully this
but he's pissed.
Lights a fire under him and it doesn't deflate him.
That's good. That's good at compartmentalizing, but he's pissed.
Right.
And he should be.
So?
He's rubbed the wrong way.
But think about this.
He's rubbed the wrong way by it.
But think about this. Why would he be pissed, right? This is a guy, Trey Lance, that got beat out by Jimmy G. Now, Jimmy G, think about Jimmy G. Now, you can look at his record and say, oh, man, like this dude does nothing but win. But Jimmy G is a guy that Coach Shanahan's been trying to replace for a very long time, all right? And then you go out there and you get beat out by Brock Purdy and what some would say a bust in Sam Darnold. So why would Dak Prescott even be concerned about Trey Lance? Like, is this dude really going to be someone that threatens him?
Because sometimes it's just the principle of the matter. It's not necessarily, it's not even about Trey Lance specifically. Yes, all of the things that you just said, factual. In the grand scheme of things, is Trey Lance a threat? No, he's not. But it's the principle of the matter. The principle it is you went ahead and traded for a quarterback that I had to find out via Twitter or wherever he found out that day. Didn't even come to me and say it, gave me the heads up. I'm the leader of this franchise. I'm the guy out there in and out every single day, putting the work in. And you couldn't even give me a heads up. It's the principle of that matter. It has nothing to do with the person involved in the situation. And sometimes that's just what it comes down to. People tend to ignore the principle and the foundation of situations, strictly focusing on the facts. But you could plug any quarterback in that situation; it would still be the same thing.
Okay.